Hey everyone, it's Mikito here, or Michael Sherman, and today I'm reviewing a game for the Massachusetts Go Foundation League. This time I'll be reviewing in the F League. Last time I reviewed only G and H, but some games were missing, some players had to stop playing. So now I'll be dipping my toes in the F League. So this game will be against Sunship versus Bugnut, and let's take a look at the game. Good, and good. This move is good, and this move is bad. So normally when an opponent kicks you, it creates an opportunity to make an iron pillar. What this does is it gives you more strength. These stones are very strong, and it actually weakens this shape quite a bit. The diagonal move is very weak against the iron pillar, and so now white has to spend another move running away, or not running away, but making some type of base. Because if white was to play somewhere else, then this turnaround is just too good for black. Black gets this beautiful seal, and white isn't making too many points. So normally white would have to run, and then black can make a base. When you have two stones, it's good to jump 3 spaces. So it would be either here or here, depending on how you're feeling. So this is very normal, and it's good for both sides in my opinion. But when black played here, this actually caused a big, like, how should I put it? It's very heavy, and you're playing on the second line, aka the loser line. I don't know if you know these lessons, but the first line is the ground, the second line is nicknamed the loser line because usually if you're playing on it, you're behind, you're not making a lot of points. The third line is the territory line, allowing you to make solid territory without having to worry about dying. And the fourth line doesn't make territory per se, but it makes power, meaning the power line used for influence. When you play on the loser line, especially early in the game, you're usually slowing down and losing the momentum, meaning that you're playing slow moves and not making many points. So normally you'd want to kick like this. White would have to do something or other, either or, and then black can come over here to make a base. And black solid, doesn't have to worry too much about dying right now. And he successfully invaded this area. If you look, this was white's area, right? Black has this, white has this. So if you successfully invade over here, you're not supposed to make a lot of points here. But if you successfully invade, then you break up white from making a lot of points here. And so that's success in itself. But anyway, we'll continue and show you why this is bad. So this is very low to the ground. It's not going to make a lot of points. And it actually leads white. If white played the correct shape point, this is a very important shape point. It's a tiger's mouth. You should know that if you can make tiger's mouths, they're usually good, especially if you're running against an opponent. This would be called a running battle because each player is trying to get in front of each other. And so black would be making credit, meaning that it's not guaranteed points, but it could be, where white is almost making cash. This is almost like guaranteed points here. And it looks pretty big on the past the 5th line, the 6th line of territory. So another way to go about this would have been here. If it went like this, I think you can tell who's getting the better out of this. Black's making cash now, but it's a bit much smaller. And white has both cash and influence. Maybe not cash, but definitely a lot of influence, or credit as I call it, meaning that you could make a lot of points out here, like a lot. And finally, if it went like this, you can see white is making a lot of cash, or it's mostly cash, some credit. But white's making a lot, and black isn't making too much yet. He's making a wall, but it's pushed in and has weaknesses. And so black has to spend another move to fix those weaknesses, and then white can get even more influence, more credit, more power. And that's because white is winning this running battle. So in all 3 instances, white wins the running battle by playing the correct shape point, which is hitting the head of 2 stones and making the tiger's mouth in a running battle. So this was so crucial, so crucial. And if we go back, it's all because black didn't make the iron pillar when he got kicked. So let's continue. This move I would say is bad because now when black plays either here or here, black is now leading the running battle. And black has a wall with one weakness, but it's still pretty strong. And black can either play here and stuff white, making sure that white can't make a big area here, or black could even threaten to try and I can't find the best move to try that, but maybe something like this even to try and cut off white here. So like let's say it went like this. You know, now black could potentially really mess with white. I don't like this move as much as this move, but you can see the difference between black getting this. Let's look at a difference between black getting this versus white getting this, right? There's a huge difference in white's favor versus black getting it, you know. So let's play here. So this is similar to this one, but black stays kind of looser, less heavy. And once again, black can come over here to try and separate this, or just stuff white down. This is my preferred way because it's working with this stone. So you don't have to worry about making points with this group. You just have to worry about them staying strong and connected and eventually coming out to the middle to make eyes. And white's stuffed down on the third line, meaning that it's only getting 2 lines of territory, compared to when white was like getting all the influence and points. So I really can't stress this enough, that this right here was the shape point, and so I really don't like B at all, but it's fine. And then in the game, black played here, which is again missing the shape point, and to me it just doesn't look all that good, because you're behind in the running race for a second time. Being behind is never good, never ever good. So if we look here in the game, white played here and now got to hit the head of 2 stones. Have you heard of the shape point? Hitting the head of 2 stones is extremely good. I haven't even been looking at what I've been writing, but it looks like I know these lessons are so ingrained in my head, I don't even have to look at what I write. But this one was very specific. Making a base is good, but taking the shape point and leading the running race is much better. So anyway, white hit the head of 2 stones here, which is great shape for white. And then black has to lose area, right? Like black has to lose this area. And this felt out of character. It felt like black, how should I put it? Instead of black playing here, black either needed to continue this fighting, excuse me, and then maybe get something like this. And you can see now that black doesn't have to worry about this being alive anymore, and now can focus over here or here. So yeah, black had to continue this, because when black plays this, my first instinct is to immediately just enclose black here. Black's not going to make almost any points. Black is in urgent danger right now. If black was to play somewhere else, like, this looks so painful, right? Like, even if black lives, which is questionable, I think. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, black can't live here. There's not 2 eyes, so yeah, getting this turn is so urgent, because now it forces black to play something like this, and then you can continue to make this big wall of influence, all this credit, and black is getting almost no cash. And later on, you can, you know, you can't. It's hard to put a number or explain how good having thickness facing the outside, especially your stones, is good. Like, I can't explain it in great words, but I just need you to know that having like a thick wall like this facing the center and your stones is really good. So yeah, this move was off timing for sure. Black needed to push out or come over here. I would have pushed here and then here, and then I wouldn't have to worry about this, and I can go do my own business elsewhere. So we'll talk more. So now it's white's turn, and white made himself a very nice double wing. This was a shape that was sought after for a long time in Go theory, like from the 1990s all the way up to 2016. This was super good. Nowadays, from what I've learned from the Young Gunsei League and computers in general, is that they prefer just making the solid territory right away. So by playing something like this, it makes it very hard for black to come in here and get something, you know, get a lot, or like get him, like, you know, live really. So making this nice enclosure is almost solidifying the corner and this, which is super good. Once again, I would really consider playing this out first. Even if you just make the one exchange and then come back, that would be really nice. But because you played this double wing, it's a 5-space extension. These used to be good, but you know, the computers love this now, and so it's not as heavily sought after, but I still think it's great, so I'm fine with it. I just wanted to bring up that little tidbit. It's not even a big deal. So also C and D, I think, are more urgent moves. That was move 17. Yeah, so C and D are much more urgent moves than playing over here. These are so big. Like, even if black gets out, you know, white's making a lot of potential cash over here. So we'll move on. Move 29 is my next comment, so let's take a look. These, once again, they're all off topic. This is the area. If we were looking at the AI, they would be screaming about this area here. It's good. Fine. This one was very awkward, but it's okay, I guess. I just feel like because this isn't alive yet, like this is a liability. So it's bad to make two liabilities, two weak groups. But so white separated here. This might not have been my first choice. It was great shape for a long time, but now it looks like it's just easily peeped. So I might prevent that peep and keep A and, sorry, I'd keep B and C separated. And so as long as you keep them both weak, one of them is gonna die or definitely get close to it. Let's see. So this was the big point that I wanted to bring out. Like all those other things were minor grievances. Not the stuff I wrote down, but the other things I was talking about. But this is so important. You have to stay connected. If somebody peeps you, it doesn't take much reading to know that black's gonna play here next. And if you read this out, then you're gonna be able to see that like it's a very poor situation for white. White gets trapped in the corner, and then black definitely lives here and stays connected with this stone that could have been separated and weak, but now it becomes strong and useful in this group that could have been possibly killed, if not at least kept small and surrounded. But now, because white in the game didn't connect here, which, let's look at the connection. You see this solid connection? This is keeping A and B completely separate. In fact, this is what I call the Romeo-Juliet split. You have Romeo and Juliet, two star-crossed lovers will never be reunited again, meaning that one of these groups is probably going to die, or if not, get really beat up on. So you have to keep your enemy split if they're weak. So staying connected, you know, is so important. Let's see. But by playing here, you allowed black to now just connect all these stones, and there's really not much that black has to worry about now. And white only made a very small corner, and he's fully sealed in. This move looks a little questionable. I get the seal part, so maybe not, but yeah, it's fine. This peep looks kind of crazy too, but it's fine. Let's see. This was a nice sacrifice. And then you end up taking the top. So black didn't get to fully seal in white, which is kind of surprising. And I guess it leads back to this peep. Once again, I guess I didn't analyze this morning, but looking at it now, it's very clear that these two situations, these peeps, are similar, right? Like, this peep was super important to connect, and this peep is just super important to connect. Now white has no way of getting to the center, not even in, you know, no possible way. And then these stones are really, really weak, right? So I wouldn't even have to. And these stones are almost fully Romeo and Juliet separate. So connecting here wouldn't have been bad. And when you didn't, it led to this awful situation when now you're separated. And then white even gets out into the center. So this was somewhat successful now for white. Though black did get his profit over here, so I can't complain. But yeah, the point is, stay connected. That's the golden rule. Let's see, move 51. I'd say because of the peep. Oh, yeah. So I'd say because of this peep, black swung the game heavily into black's favor. And it's just too bad black messed up here, which then, you know, kind of made the area almost evenish. Like, at least white got something back, is what I should say. Let's see, move 70 is the last comment, which was here. Okay, so if we go back a little bit, this move looks weird for black, very weird, because you're playing against a strong group, but then white messed it up. So right here, bugnut. When you play here, you're squeezing these black stones way too much. You should focus on the bigger picture of just killing the whole group. Like, even if you don't kill this group, let's say somehow black lives, which the 9 might be too much, so maybe you'd play out here. And then maybe something like this. And so let's say black wins, right? Like, black not wins, but black survives here, right? Fact is, you're making points on the bottom. So you're making your points, and you're still harassing this group, meaning that it doesn't have eyes yet. So you can take full advantage of beating up on these stones without having to squeeze your opponent so tightly. When you squeeze your opponent, think of it like toothpaste. Because each player gets to move one turn at a time, the player, you know, is going to keep moving, right? And then he gets a good result and comes out okay. And the reason is because you're squeezing so tightly, those stones are just leaving through the grips of your fingers. So it's much better to surround your opponent from the outside. Now, I'm not saying these are the most optimal moves, but you can clearly see that black has to run away, and then white can make points. This would normally be what I would want, but I would be worried about this group because this white group is very weak. So instead of playing in this fashion, I would once again, you know, come out with a move here. You know, so that way you can keep this alive. And you can still keep the corner even though it can get shut in, so. Or you could start a fight here, which is fine too. But anyway. Point is that when you play moves like this, it's very easy to read that he's just gonna move out. And now you have really bad shape. You got hit on the head of 2 stones. I didn't want to look at this though. Fair enough. So if you used the squeezing Tetsuji, I think it actually looks kind of nice. My first instinct still would be to cover, you know, from the outside in some fashion. But looking at this, if you find this Tetsuji, it's called the squeezing Tetsuji. You can see it's like a triple hane here, mixed with this stone being on the ground. Oh, right. White doesn't play here. White plays here. And now black can't play here, right? So black has to take. And now you squeezed black. Although, I still don't like that black can keep you separate. But black still doesn't have eyes and has a grape shape, so I don't know. But that's another way to go look at it. If you're gonna do it, you could do the Tetsuji. But I really don't like squeezing stones like this when I can try and kill them from the outside. So let's go back. I harped on that a lot. I don't know why I was so focused on that. But let's just go back and reiterate stuff to relearn our lesson. When you get kicked, the iron pillar is much more effective and it weakens the diagonal significantly. If white was to play somewhere else, then getting this move and staying ahead in the running is very, very beneficial for black. So that's why we usually iron pillar almost 100% of the time when you get kicked like this. This move was bad because if you stay solid like this, I mean, white gets the advantage in the running battle, and no matter what way this goes, you know, white comes out pretty good. Was this is right, yeah. Oh yeah, so originally I was showing you this, but this weakness here, right? Like white can just take the corner completely. There's a bunch of variations when it comes to this running battle, but the idea is that if white took the shape point here, he would win in all situations. And that's because black missed the shape point here, which is here. It breaks that tiger's mouth. Breaking tiger's mouth is good. So this was a big mistake. This one I think was a big mistake because now you let black get the lead in the running battles. Either or, it all works. And this one, you know, making a base is a good idea, but not when you're behind. So now you're behind and white is in the lead of this running battle, and white could have played here. This is the double hane Tetsuji. It's good for white because black has 2 weaknesses, so black has to come back and fix, and then white is extremely strong and black is very weak on both sides, right? If black comes out, this is really good for white. and if black plays this way, then this is great for white too. So it all comes down to running battles. I guess that's something at your guys' level you can work on a lot, is learning how to do these running battles, and not putting yourself behind like with moves like this. Okay. We were talking about urgency versus big moves. This is a big move, but there's urgent moves to be played. For black's lesson is there's urgent moves to be played, so don't take another big move. Play on the urgency part. We talked about the differences between taking a double wing and taking a secure corner. This was strange, but I didn't have like a good basic or fundamental explain why it looked strange to me. I don't think it should have worked as well as it did, because when you see here, if white just connected here, now black is in trouble on both sides. So I think this is a, oh, that's the fundamental. I didn't write it down, but the idea is that you shouldn't make a second weak group when you have a first weak group. You should never have two weak groups. You shouldn't, fix your weaknesses and then move on. So that's a good fundamental. Peeping. When somebody peeps you, you really need to consider connecting. Sometimes you can get a better result if you don't, but in this particular case it was so crucial because it keeps two weak groups separate and it keeps you strong. But now once black got this cut and then this connection, now black's really good. All these stones are working together, and white only got a very tiny corner and got sealed in. But then there was a mistake again with the peep, and so then that meant white got to come out, and it kind of evened itself out a little. Although I still think black got a somewhat better result in this, because black got points and safety, and white got little points, but white did get some influence on in the middle. So this move was really strange. I don't think it should work as well as it did, and I think that's because white played here, and one, missed the Tetsuji, and two, was behind, right? So even though you're ahead by this one turn, once these stones connect, now you're behind in that running race. You got hit on the head, and so it makes bad shape, and black's getting better. So I think that was the last one, right? We reiterated on everything. I hope these help. I try really hard to put these together to spell out like basics and fundamentals that are needed to progress. All in all, I think white resigned here, and I can see why, because black's pretty solid and has more points than white. But if I was playing as white, I wouldn't give up just yet, because white's alive here, right? So now I would do an invasion somewhere down here, or here, or even here. I'd consider these three spots and keep the fight going. So honestly, even with white living here, like, I still think black is ahead, maybe. All right, I'll end the review here. Thank you for watching.